Well, here we are, Jack. Another episode. And I've remembered to call you Jack.
You have indeed, yeah. Is this the first episode where that's come true?
First episode it's come through because we've got to be on our best behaviour because we have a guest.
We have a guest.
Let's cue the intro.
Cool story, bro. Cool story, bro. Brought to you by the Sneaky Bros. Bringing you releases and reviews and the latest video game news and interviews from people with nothing better to do. It's Cool Story, bro. Coming to you.
Cool Story Bros, got to say a quick thanks to our friends at 2Game. These guys give you gaming discounts that are totally legitimate. They work with publishers and game developers to give you great discounts with no dodgy CD keys or anything like that. You can get great discounts on your games at coolstorybro.gg/game. And we are in Cool Story Bro episode 3 of this season, and welcome to Jamie Carlisle from the Netflix Gaming Club. How you doing, Jamie?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Very quickly then, Netflix Gaming Club, you are a Canadian, so we've got this time difference down perfectly for this record, so everyone's all come together nicely. Netflix Gaming Club, it is what it says on the tin. We have games on Netflix now. In some regions. There are very few in here in the UK, but we've managed to play a few. But in your own words, take it away. Tell us about the Netflix Gaming Club.
Oh yeah, thanks. So the Netflix Gaming Club is taking listeners on a journey through the best games that are available on Netflix. As of recording now, there are about 100 games on Netflix, and some of them are really good, real games. And so we wanted to highlight the ones that are... that have something to offer somebody who might be new to the service and might not know which games to start with.
Yeah, we're not as fortunate to have 100 over here. I have dipped in to try and play some of them that feature in your episodes of the first series that you've done.
Great.
The only one I could line up was Oxenfree, which is one of your episodes. I'm going to let you introduce this game, then I'll give my sort of review and take on it.
Sure. So Oxenfree is a spooky little tale about grief and the relationships of teenagers. The game has some of the best voice acting and dialogue I've ever heard in a game. It comes from ex-Telltale and Disney employees, and it shows. The game is the story of a group of grieving friends who get trapped on a haunted island. They mean to go and be in a big party of 20 people, and it ends up being just the 5 that really have the strongest feelings about each other. It's emotional and really brings you back to that feeling of being in high school.
Yeah, the dialogue, as you've mentioned, is literally what makes the game, and it has to, because if you've played the game or know what we're talking about, that is its core feature. You're walking around as this band of teenagers, discovering things. There is dialogue selection, so you choose the path of what things say. It might not be what you're thinking, so there's not necessarily a good choice and a bad choice. There's just a different choice to maybe find out different things, either about each other and their relationships and how they interact, or what's going on in the world around them. So there's some really cool interactions, as there's some supernatural elements as well. You sort of get this ghost radio that you sort of tune into the supernatural, and you also get some time warps in there as well. So you get a chance to replay things, but there's always something just slightly off, which... That's is that how pretty much on the button there? I've not played a great deal of it, but that's my take on the game.
Yeah, it's very it really introduces the supernatural stuff slowly. It really boils the frog, I thought when I first played the game that it was just about the relationships between the teenagers. And so all of my initial goals when I started the game were kind of social goals, if that makes sense.
Yeah. My only criticism, if I had one of the game, and this is something I have a problem with is it's slow at times. Not all the time. It is, but it is. There's a lot of just walking between areas and things like that, and then it just feels like there's nothing to do. There's a point to that because it's about this dialogue between the people, building the relationships, finding out about each other. But it just, for me, just spreads just a little bit too long.
I can certainly see that. Like I said, I was making goals for myself in the beginning and trying to kind of figure out where it was going because I did feel like I needed some kind of context, especially early on, to know why is this a game, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I will say it justifies itself by the end, or at least it does a damn good try at it.
Yeah, and it's got replayability as well because you've got these choices as you go. And you can go and replay it and make different choices and see how that plays out. Now, the second game I've played, which we've just mentioned briefly in our quick preamble, is Mole Gem Mayhem.
Yes.
And this is a game that does what it says on the tin. It's a puzzle shooter or strategy puzzle shooter. That's the sort of rough genre I'd put it in. I'm going to throw this to you, Jack. It's in the same vein as an old TV game on Sky Digital TV over here in the UK back in the early 2000s. There was a game called Beehive Bedlam that swept the nation.
I remember that. Yes, that was it's one of those gems games. It's kind of like a little puzzle. You have to connect the colors, connect the dots. I remember that. That's a real throwback.
Yeah, that's a memory unlock, isn't it? Yeah, the Beehive Bedlam was, digital TV over here. It was just one of those games that you connect three and then it blows up and then you've got to keep shooting stuff more and get the levels down. Bejeweled-esque sort of style. Mole Gem Mayhem is kind of like that, basically. You're just shooting stuff in a mine, collecting gems, building up your score. I actually played this multiple times, just trying to beat my score. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did because I was living away from home at the time, and that's when I discovered Netflix games. I was just scrolling down the homepage and they just appeared like, hey, we've got games on Netflix. And the two games that were there were Mole Gem Mayhem and Oxenfree. That was my only choice. So I tried them both. And completely opposite ends of the spectrum, but it was cool to play. And so, for those who don't know, at least for the games I've played, I was playing them on my Fire Stick, which has Netflix installed. To control the game, you link it to your mobile phone and use the phone as a controller. Are there any other ways to play, Jamie?
Yeah, so the way me and my cast plays the game usually is directly on the phone, like as a download. Netflix seems to have a separate version of these games uploaded to the App Store that you get through Netflix, and then you can download them for free from the App Store through Netflix. I believe there's also a beta for playing these games cloud-based, like in a browser, but I personally have not been able to get into that.
Yeah, over here, the entry into them is limited. Like, if I search for these games' names, they don't pop up at the moment. Now, I've not tried it on mobile, which is probably where the main bunch of development is being pushed. I'll definitely give it a go, because there are some ported games. I think there's Game Dev Tycoon, which I've always wanted to check out, which I know you've done an episode on as well. So definitely want to check out that at some point.
The recommended experience, at least from my perspective, is a tablet with a with a dedicated controller. So I'm playing with an iPad and an Xbox One controller.
So I bet I could link up my Xbox controller to my Fire Stick, and that might work. I'm going to give that a test. It's definitely... Cloud gaming is something I'm getting more and more into. Also on my TV, it's also on Fire Stick now, but the Xbox Cloud app is there as well. Yes. I've played a bunch of stuff on there, especially, recently became a father. It became easy just to, in a very short amount of downtime, to play video games, just to connect the controller to the TV and just play something. And I really appreciated this for the new Forza games that came out, because they are huge downloads. And although I have pretty good download connectivity over here, it was just that immediate, I'm in. and I can play the game and just try it out as well, because through Game Pass, it's all free with your subscription. So cloud gaming, Netflix are on the button there, I think, at getting in at the right time, because lots of people have tried cloud gaming over the years. I mean, Jack, I don't know if you remember, I don't know what year we went to Eurogamer and tried on live cloud gaming. Do you remember that?
Wow. Yeah, I remember there was a massive queue for that. I'm pretty sure we even tried to queue up for it for a little bit, but then we saw that Peter Molyneux was almost in the wings and we almost met him, but he eluded us once again. Yeah, I do remember that. Everyone had their little goodie bags, and I believe they... did they get the actual console itself?
Yeah, so on live, I don't know if you know what we're referring to, Jamie, but it was a cloud gaming service which was founded in 2009, so way ahead of any current cloud gaming systems. And it came with a physical device, which was, it predates most smart TVs at that sort of time. And you had this little box that said on live on it, which you connected to your TV. You had a controller that came with it as well, which was very reminiscent of an Xbox controller. I mean, those that have tried to break away from the standard controller, I'm looking at you, Steam, with your Steam Link controller, have really failed. So they went with the conventional, it's an Xbox controller, but for legal reasons, we've changed a couple of things. The architecture was fine. It obviously it was one of the very first cloud gaming systems. So it came with that very much initial hesitation of cloud game systems where, what's the lag going to be like? What's latency going to is that going to be a huge thing in online gaming? But they generally focused on single player experiences at the time. And actually, it went fine after launch. It just didn't take off. It was too ahead of its time, as many things have been in the past. So they pretty much went defunct in 2012. But the patents for it were actually sold to Sony.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Yeah, who obviously didn't really do anything with that. They're developing their own cloud-based systems at the moment. But yeah, didn't really go down that console. Maybe it's just a buyout to stop anyone else doing it, as some companies tend to do.
Possibly, yeah. You might be on the money ball there, Jamie. I'm so curious. You've kind of opened a box here for me. So what drew you? What drew you to Netflix games, and why did you make a podcast all about it?
Well, it was kind of the initial feeling. I mean, you guys described just stumbling across Netflix games. It was the same for me. When I was just in the Netflix app and there are the games, and it was like, okay, this is insane. This is crazy. These are real games. I felt the need to tell everybody about it. I actually originally was going to do a show about Game Pass, but when I saw the Netflix games were available, that was it. I couldn't believe no one was talking about it. People still aren't talking about it.
Yeah, they're not. And Jamie, has Netflix released any stats or statistics or demographics of who plays these games on Netflix?
Oh, absolutely not. Netflix has no interest in that I've seen. But I will say they've got a very large, cozy contingent. If you look at their social media, you can see they've got a bunch of visual novel games based on reality shows that, they seem to be developing their own little wing of games to just make that. They have something called Netflix Stories now, which is just original Netflix games based on reality shows.
So does Netflix, do they have a development team as well where they're actively developing games?
Yes, they've purchased some studios, including Night School Studio, who made Oxenfree, which is probably why it's so widely available. And I believe the Netflix games, Netflix Stories games, are developed in-house as well.
Yeah, the marketing for it, I think you've hit the nail on the head that it's for casual, because the marketing that I've seen, so when I scroll over one of the games, it doesn't start with the trailer for the game. What it starts with is it just jumps to two people on the couch, just playing with their phones and stuff like that, and then it jumps into the game trailer. So they're definitely trying to pull people in who've maybe not even played video games before.
That's something that we're kind of conscious of on the show as well. Like, you know, this seems like a very good onboarding point for lots of people, you know, and so we generally want to be able to give potential listeners like a outsider's perspective into the industry, into what makes the specific games that you can play on Netflix so special, the ones they've chosen.
I liked what you said before with, you know, this whole onboarding people into games that are potentially a new audience. Cloud gaming seems to be the easy way to do that. Netflix have got the platform to do that as well. Amazon have tried something very similar with their system. We've obviously seen Xbox do it with their Game Pass as well. But Xbox, you know, I feel like you've got to be into gaming to buy Game Pass. And to search out Amazon's version of it as well, I think takes a few more clicks. Although it does throw it in your face on Fire Stick sometimes if you've got one of them devices. The amount of times I see play Fortnite, click here when I'm flicking through Fire Stick is unbelievable. But Netflix, it's just that, oh, what do I want to do tonight? Scrolling down, discover it the way that we all have. Oh, yeah, maybe I could try a game. And these, so I think Mold Gem Mayhem's a good one. You know, oh, it's a cute little puzzle game with a mole drilling through and collecting diamonds. Okay, well, maybe I'll check out something more deeper and a bigger gaming experience from there. And it's so easy to do. And as much as the older generation, which I include myself in when I could talk about video games, are trying to resist maybe some things of cloud gaming, it definitely is the future. As much as I still like to own physical copies of things, I'm really looking forward to just how casual things can be, and it's really helped, as I said previously, as a new father, just to quickly try games without having to download it for an hour or whatever, you know, and commit to a purchase. I think that's always the big one.
Yeah, you're a dad now, so you've got the Switch open in bed, and then you got, you know, when you're on the couch, you've got Netflix open playing the games. Wow. So Jamie, coming back to Netflix games, what has been the go-to title recently that you've been sitting down playing?
Well, I've been preparing for season 2, so I've actually been playing a game we haven't officially covered yet. I've been playing the hell out of Vice City. The game was so important to me growing up. Just like pull it out and play it on the phone. Isn't a new thing. We've actually had that for like 10 years now. But having an excuse for me personally to do it, I've just been immersed in that world again.
Sorry,
it's 2002 in my apartment.
Sorry, back up there, Jamie. Are you saying Grand Theft Auto Vice City is on Netflix?
Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
I didn't know that sentence was going to be said, but there you have it. You have Grand Theft Auto on Netflix.
I know what I'm doing in bed tonight. I'm going to download Netflix on my phone and play some Grand Theft Auto. That's amazing, especially with GTA 6 in the horizon and distant. It just feels like it's never going to happen. It's coming, but it just feels so far away. Oh, that's amazing. So they really have some what I'd call established title. I mean, you can't get more established than Vice City, really, can you?
We've been skirting around the term real games.
Yeah, I feel that's insulting to some developers that have made other games, but I also use that term as well. That's not a dig, but I know exactly what you mean when you say that. Okay, an interesting world of Netflix games open to more and more people, and getting more and more people into the hobby that we all love.
If you want to learn more about that, you can go over to Jamie's podcast. I'm sure you were literally about to plug that. Go ahead.
Yeah, NetflixGamingClub.com is the website to check out the podcast. It's also available on Apple Podcast and Spotify as well. Produced by, is Big Bad Audio your company, Jamie? Is it?
Yeah, Big Bad Audio is kind of my wrapper for professional services.
Do you want to talk about Big Bad Audio quickly, or?
Oh, sure. You know, very quickly. Big Bad is my podcast editing and producing site. It's, for tax reasons, it's good to be a sole proprietor, so, you know, that comes with the business name. If you are looking to market your business on a podcast or are looking to just see what that might entail, then yeah, check us out at bigbad.ca. Consultations are free.
Amazing.
We do like free around here. Guys, I'm sorry. hot
on.
off the press, I do have some burning news to share with you.
Okay.
Sega have just sent out a tweet saying, "We are so back." Apparently, a sequel to Alien Isolation after 10 years is confirmed to be back in development.
Whoa.
Okay. It isn't this one of your favorite games?
Yeah, well, okay. It depends what mood I'm in, and it depends if life is holding my hand, giving me, pat on my back, telling me everything's going to be okay, because I'm terrified of scary games. And that is one scary game. The alien is stalking you, just like in the original movie. Terrifying. I can't wait for this.
Am I confusing this with the other Alien game that we've played the multiplayer of? There's so many Alien Predator games.
You are, yeah. So Alien Isolation, Sega, they had to, during development, they had to really hone their skills in developing artificial intelligence to really make the alien feel real and unpredictable. A lot of, I'm sure there's documentaries out there about the making of the original Alien Isolation, but it's very fascinating to see, what the game started out as before in its primitive stage, and then how it was a complete turnaround of how the sole gameplay was around one single alien. Because like usually when you play alien games, right, there's multiple aliens, it's chaos, mayhem. But in this game, Isolation, hence the name, you're alone on a ship with a single alien, and it's terrifyingly good.
Okay.
So we're back, baby.
Okay. It is the season for horror games. As Halloween fast approaches, I'll definitely be playing some more, things like Phasmophobia and stuff like that. But I'm very much like you, Jack. I'm a total wuss when it comes to horror games. I always tell myself I want to dive into some Resident Evil because the games are iconic, but usually wuss out after a few levels. I don't know how you feel on the subject of horror games, Jamie.
Well, I find them terrifying and hard to play and scary, but some of them are such classics. You mentioned Resident Evil. My favorite game of all time, well, one of my favorite games of all time is Silent Hill 2, and so, sometimes you just gotta get through the pain, you know what I mean?
Get through the pain. That, you know what, that is such a good saying. I love that. Get through the pain, and that's how I felt playing the original Alien Isolation. I was quivering behind my quilt, crying myself to sleep at night, seeing that alien. And I'm so excited that Sega are like, yeah, we've listened to the fans. We're back, baby. Let's go, man. I'm so excited. Team Asabi has announced Astrobot will receive a new speedrun levels and 10 new special bots to rescue from this fall. Also available on virtual reality, which I highly recommend. Probably Sony's best virtual reality title they have. Pretty much like Marrow, but Sony version. Good fun. Sucker Punch announced Ghost of Yote, which introduces a new protagonist, a new story to unfold, and a new region of Japan to explore, coming to PlayStation 5 next year. I didn't play the original title. Did anyone play the first one?
No, it's not something that's generally drew me in. There's been some interesting things announced in State of Play. For me, it's the state of all video games at the moment, that no one's taking risks and it's all sequels. But I'm going to save my rants for another day. What I did like, as I'm bashing sequels, but the new Dynasty Warriors looked incredible. That is a hack and slash game that I can get into any day.
Yeah, apparently it introduces a nameless hero who will fight his way through the Three Kingdoms era of ancient China. I remember the original Dynasty Warriors. You and I used to play. Was it on the PlayStation 2?
You could have
good fun.
before that.
Before that, PlayStation 1 maybe? Diving into the battle, swinging your sword around. Great fun. Can't wait for that.
The Dynasty Warriors for me just always felt like these grand, large battles and things like that. Like, it always felt like you were part of something bigger. And, there was always sub-stories going on across the world map. You could get involved in a siege of a town, or you can pull back and fight out in the open field. Hack and slash games, not something I'm usually into, but especially the Three Kingdoms era as well. I'm not going to talk about it today, but let's save it for another episode. Three Kingdoms: Fate of the Dragon. That I feel like that just needs its own episode for us, because that is an old RTS game. That very few people probably would have heard of.
Exactly. I was about to say, no one listening is going to understand what we're talking about. That is very niche.
Dynasty Warriors is one of those series that I've only ever heard in one context, and from multiple locations. Multiple people have said this on podcasts and stuff over the years, that I hear people defending it as their guilty pleasure. It's actually great. Like, you've got to play Dynasty Warriors and don't listen to what anybody else says. And that's what everybody seems to say.
You got some more news, Jack?
Yeah, just talking about, you were saying like remasters, that kind of thing. You got Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. They've also got a Lego standalone Horizon Adventures game coming out. Yeah, not bad. PlayStation 5 Chroma Collection. It looks like they're going down the Apple route now. Interesting. So if you want a snazzy new color, you can do that with a new PlayStation 5. We talked about Alan Wake 2, the Lake House DLC. Obviously, you got Archage Chronicles is the latest installment in the Archage series, promising action-packed combat, rich storytelling, and expansive exploration. We all saw the new Monster Hunter Wilds game. That looked very good.
Always cautiously optimistic now of any new Monster Hunter games. Like, I enjoyed the meat and potatoes of Monster Hunter games. My problem is the UI, the social systems, and everything else around the games are usually an absolute faff. I think to play with a friend in the last Monster Hunter game, you had to be like an hour in, and that's just not what I'm about.
No, it needs to be from the menu title, invite friend. You're killing
that's
you're
simple.
killing capturing monsters. That's the way it should be. There was also two more VR titles that were shown. There was a Metro VR game. It looks quite expansive. It looks actually like a pretty big AAA game there, which is exciting to see for VR users, which myself, I am one. We also have VR Hitman, which the original free games were a massive hit in the virtual reality community, and this new one looks just as good and interactive. I like how you can pick up vases, throw it off a balcony, and yep.
If that's the gaming content that you like, throwing vases out of windows, then yeah. I saw the trailer for that actually, and don't own a VR headset, not big into VR games, but that actually looked kind of fun. I think that would be a VR game that lends itself to the medium. Jamie, I don't know if you played much VR?
I've always wanted to do it, but all I've ever played is Super Hot at the Microsoft Store, which was great.
Damn, yeah. I remember Super Hot was actually one of my first purchases back in the day when the first headset I had was the PlayStation VR, the first version. And that was one of the first games I picked up. I smashed my shin on the table. That was fun. But I completed the level though, so win.
I might have been the guy who was showing me the VR headset accidentally.
Yeah, but what's so great about the virtual reality community is taking just original games that were intended to be played with keyboard, mouse, controller, whatever, and there's modders out there that actually turn these into virtual reality pieces of software. For example, Jamie, did you know that the Outer Wilds has a virtual reality mod?
Oh my god.
Yes, oh my god.
Wow, the mind spins, like literally. I imagine a lot of spinning.
Yes, my mind was spinning when I was experiencing it. It sounds kind of janky how I say it's a mod, but it's honestly, if you would have just slapped the publishers and the developer's name on it, you would have thought it was their own product. It was that polished. And it's great. Flying in the ship, really smooth, but then when you land on a planet and you look up and you see all the planets spinning around you, makes you spin, like you said. It's a great feeling, though. Scary.
That must be incredible. Like that game is so immersive. It really again, it just sucks you in, and you're so part of that little world. Having it in first, it's already in first person, but having it surrounding you like that, I can't even imagine.
That would be something I would buy a VR headset just to play, because I think we're all on the same wavelength here that Outer Wilds is up there in our top games of all time. In terms of gaming, and for any, it's difficult to talk about Outer Wilds and be very careful for spoilers and things like that. It really is just an experience. If you're the sort of person that is not big into combat, or you don't like being led down a linear path, Outer Wilds is for you. And the only thing that Jamie will say the same, Jack will say the same, is do not look at reviews, do not look at any videos, just play the game. And that is it. That's all we need to say to you, because you will understand in time why we're saying those things to you.
Here's what I will say about the Outer Wilds. So I had a talk with my wife, and I told her, if I ever get dementia, sit me down and have me play Outer Wilds over and over and over again, because that's the craving that I want most. Is I want to experience Outer Wilds for the first time again. What about yourself, Jamie?
Oh, that's brilliant! I have a retirement plan now. That's great.
You and I can be there. You know, we can sit next to each other. We can play Outer Wilds. I love that.
I've heard there's a co-op mod too. So yeah.
We
bump our little spaceships into each other.
We have a great clip from the co-op mod that we never published, actually. I think we should dig it out and publish it. So we tried the co-op mod, and it's really funny because everything works fine. And then I think I tweaked something with the time. I think I set it to unlimited universe, so something doesn't happen. Wow, I almost said it then.
You were close.
And then, we were just exploring one of the planets in the system, and we just looked up and another planet just smashed into us, which is obviously that's not meant to happen in the game, but it's a really funny clip. I have to dig it out.
That sounds great.
How about this? So when we publish this video, I will make that short clip live for everyone to see.
Yeah, that's it. It'll be available on our YouTube channel at The Sneaky Bros. Shameless and seamless plug of our YouTube. Look at that. It's like we planned it. I want to talk about, because we've got so much to get through as well, and already 35 minutes into this episode. Thanks for sticking with us, if you're still with us here on Cool Story Bro. Joined by Jamie Carlisle from the Netflix Gaming Club. Now, we all look to award season with games, and the Joystick Awards are hosting their rounds of voting at the moment. They've got a range of categories that include just about everything you can think of. I want to go straight for the jugular on this and get some people's thoughts. The best PC game of the year. I'll give you the nominations. I want to know your votes if you've not voted already. We've got Animal Well, which is a game developed by Shared Memory. We've also got Balatro. Now, Jack, if you've not tried this, I think this game is right up your street. It's a card game that's sort of poker style, so there's not a huge amount of rules that you need to sort of memorize or anything like that. It's really easy to get into, but it's pretty much the core mechanics of poker is how you play out this card game. It's got a really cool art style to it as well.
So is there like much more to it, or is it just poker?
There's a bit more to it as well. I'd recommend you check it out.
Okay, I will.
Frostpunk 2 is obviously up there as well. Only recently released. We talked about it in our first episode. Fantastic sequel and follow-up to the original Frostpunk. Satisfactory is on there as well, which is up there on the Steam charts every single day that I look. I see loads of my friends playing it. Hugely popular game. We got Tactical Breach Wizards, which is a funny title because it's a humorous game. It's a tactical strategy game which doesn't really take itself too seriously. And UFO 50, which is, I couldn't tell you the genre because it's just about every single genre of game possible. That's the easiest way to explain UFO 50. For me, it's a good list for the game of the year. There's some notable games that are missing from there for this year. But Jamie, for you, out of that list, is there anything that you've played that you'd give game of the year, or have you not played anything in that list?
Well, to be honest, the only game I played out of that list is Bellatro. And by the way, beautiful pronunciation on that. I've never heard anyone else say it Bellatro before. Beautiful.
Is that wrong?
No, that's correct. Well,
Oh,
that's
right.
what Wikipedia says is correct. But everyone I've heard calls it Bellatro. But yeah, no, Bellatro. Nice. So, I mean, Animal Well, I've heard great things. Frostpunk heard great things. I mean, I can say that about all the games on the list, but everybody's played Bellatro. It just showed up on the iPhone, and like my mom was texting me about Bellatro like 4 days ago about like strategies and stuff. So, I mean, in terms of sheer ubiquity, like that game, it caught the world like by storm, you know?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's definitely one to check out. For me, if I was to pick a game of the year, it's not on that list, but it is on the console game of the year list. And for me, it's Helldivers 2. Yes, there was a slight little bit of controversy with it and all that sort of stuff, but in terms of the impact it had on the year, and especially in our friend circle, and it was just one of them games that most people were playing and had to check out, or at least heard of anyway. And it was so much fun at its core. It's making a bit of a comeback at the moment in the charts as well. They've had some really great patches recently. For me, if I was to pick a game of this year so far, it would be Helldivers 2. So back to you, Jamie. Free reign of any choice. Obviously, you said Bellatro from that list, but if you had free reign, game of the year, go.
Oh, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
Okay.
What?
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes is a 3D puzzle game. I keep bringing it up. I think it's because the remaster just came out, but very much Silent Hill 2 inspired. It's like if Silent Hill 2 was all puzzles. You explore an abandoned hotel that seems to be kind of unmoored through time, and you solve puzzles and open locked doors and learn about your own past. It's beautiful. It's in black and white with like red items in some rooms. It's really quite something.
Nice. Wasn't expecting that one, but good choice. Jack?
Sorry.
Oh, go on.
Jamie.
He's got a follow-up.
Just say that name one more time.
Yes, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
I'm gonna bring that up in a bit because I really wanna look at that. Yeah, Matt.
Your game of the year?
Elden Ring. Is that there?
Didn't come out this year, but it could be.
No.
I know you've been playing it a lot this year. That could still be in your still playing award category, which is a thing.
There you go. So my honest answer would be, okay, so I heard some really good things about Animal Well. I believe that's Donkey's published game. I believe I could be wrong there. You know, Donkey Donkey the YouTuber. But me personally, it's not on the list, but Age of Mythology Retold, just because it's pulling on my nostalgia strings. I love mythology. I love RTS. I love throwing down some good old god powers, bringing down a meteorite on Matt's base. That's always fun.
Yeah, it's Age of Mythology. Oh, wow, what a release as well for and we've talked about it before, so I don't want to labour this game too much. But yeah, I think it's sort of a sequel, sort of a remaster, somewhere in the middle of the two. That they got it spot on. Silent Hill 2, incidentally, Jamie, is nominated for Best Soundtrack as well. So
yeah, that gets my vote.
So yeah, some great choices there from everyone for Game of the Year. And then there is also a category, and I found this one really difficult to pick a game, and that's Most Wanted Game. So that is the game that you are most looking forward to that is currently in development. So that could be Grand Theft Auto, that could be the new Fable that's coming out, which we've spoken before. It could be Monster Hunter, which we've spoke about. Skate, there's a new Skate game in the work. I know we've spoke about that as well. Big fans of Skate here. Jamie, anything that you really, really want to get your hands on? If you could get told now, you could get the whatever game it is, new, fresh, and polished in your hand, what would it be?
I mean, I guess it changes every 5 years, but the answer's got to be Silksong, right?
Is what,
like
sorry?
Hollow Knight 2.
Oh, Oh, okay. Yes, Hollow Knight. Yeah, yeah. That is up there in the votes as well. So a lot of people have said Hollow Knight with Silksong. Not something I've checked out personally, but what is it about it that you're really looking forward to?
Well, personally, I want to play Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight 1 was a game that I watched like a girlfriend and a roommate play and looked incredible, but I had the whole experience through someone else's kind of hands, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me personally, I just want a chance to play it fresh. But, you know, Metroidvanias, or I've heard them called now search action games, are such a specific art form that anytime you have something come in and like push it forward a bit, like I think Hollow Knight did in terms of like game feel, you know, is just such it's a big thing. And so seeing how they follow that up, like, can they push the genre farther or not? Like the drama of that, I'm very excited for.
Yeah, it's a lot of people will have that as top of their list. Jack, what would you put most wanted game?
I think we can all agree, whatever Mobius Digital has cooking up there, we don't know what it is yet. If you don't know who that is, viewers, that is the developers of The Outer Wilds. So they said that they are working on a new game, a new title, apparently. I'd love to go back to the universe of Outer Wilds, but, you know, it'll be interesting to see what else they have cooking up there in their pot. Another game, I'm sure the listeners can agree. Come on, Outer Scrolls 6, guys.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't even pop into my mind. Yeah, I think in the same vein as well, Avowed, which is going to be, you know, the sort of competitor to the Elder Scrolls game as well. Be interesting to see someone else's take on that genre of game, but with a completely new IP. All in favor of new IPs getting in on the action.
Yeah, and if you want to experience that world and universe, there are games on Game Pass about the whole Avowed universe. They're called Pillars of Eternity. Go and give them a try. Really old school, top-down RPGs. A bit like D&D.
Nice. I'm going to have to play some of them before Avowed comes out because I'm really looking forward to that. Obviously, I'm sure the Elder Scrolls will be as fantastic as Skyrim was, as great as Oblivion, but yeah, Avowed. New IP, new characters, new world to explore. Yeah, great. Fan of the fantasy RPGs, Jamie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Oblivion was like the first grown-up game that I really, really wanted to have and couldn't because I didn't have the hardware, you know? It was the one you played at your friend's house, or I played at my friend's house, and it was just like the most exciting thing ever. Skyrim, of course, you know. I hadn't actually heard of Avowed, but Obsidian, you know, they're always interesting, and Pillars of Eternity is beloved.
Yeah, it's was that one of your first RPGs, Jack? I remember you having it. It's interesting you say, JB, before that you experienced the game through someone else's hands. I can definitely get on board with that with a lot of the gaming experiences we had as brothers. He had the Xbox, really, from young on, and I was sort of just about to go to university at the time, so I didn't really have a console. And I remember him playing Oblivion and Fallout and things like that, and experienced most of them for the first time by watching Jack. So
all right. I'll put my hands up. I did buy the horse armor, but
nice.
But I had my reasons. Okay, I had my reasons. It was only £5, and I had it, you know, there at the time, and you know, I needed it, guys. I needed it.
You needed to make your horse look amazing. You are part of the problem. I think we've said it before.
I didn't want to say it.
Oh, good. Right. Okay. Go on.
Sorry. Could we talk a little bit about Starfield? Recently, Shattered Space, a new downloadable piece of content for Bethesda Studios' newest role-playing game set in the sci-fi genre, hasn't exactly released to much praise at all. Metacritic score roughly around 60. Apparently, it's Bethesda's worst-rated game on Steam. Thoughts, guys? What do you think?
I think Starfield's problem is it's suffering from overhype. And maybe this is just a theme of space games, but everyone had such high expectations for just it being the greatest game of all time. If you strip that expectation away and just play it for what it is, it's a great gaming experience. I don't have some of the big issues that other people have had with the game. It's and I must admit, I've not played it a huge amount. It's one of them games I dip into every now and again, as I generally do with RPGs, though. That's not the fault of that game. I really have to be in the mood and have a bit of free time to play RPGs. But yeah, it works fine. I've not played the DLC, so I can't comment on that specifically. But yeah, it's
funny. It's funny you should mention that, because I personally, with the release of Starfield, I'm the same boat as you. I'm a massive role-playing fan, and I felt like it was an okay role-playing game. It was fine, but I was expecting a little bit more. Now, has this severely lowered everyone's expectations for Elder Scrolls? That's their next title.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to check it out, Jamie, Starfield? Or?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I'm a big Oblivion. I've forgotten their names. Who makes? It's not Zed.
Bethesda. Yeah, Bethesda.
Oh my god! If me 10 years ago could hear me not remember the name of Bethesda, I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, I believe it or not, I'm a big Bethesda fan. I like a lot of Bethesda's RPGs. Starfield's tricky. Love science fiction. The idea of making your own space station a spaceship that you can walk around in, and hang out with your buddies and decorate, unbelievable. And I'll try any space sim that's out there. I put my time into No Man's Sky. I became a trillionaire in that, and then never played it again. I played a bunch of a series called X2 or the X series back in the day. Anyway.
Wow, you and I have so similar game libraries. It's really fascinating.
I love space. I'm a big Star Trek fan. So, oh man. This kind of brings a lot of things together, because one, I played Starfield almost entirely on game streaming on Xbox Game Pass. And also, Starfield is why I'm not super excited for Elder Scrolls 6. The engine that Bethesda makes RPGs on is it's getting up there in terms of age. It's like my age.
Yep.
Yeah. And it shows, and so I love the ambition of Starfield. I love what they're going for. I don't know that they made a super compelling game in the end. I think about this a lot. Maybe space is just kind of empty and there's not a lot there. Maybe the best space simulation is going to be boring because space is boring. I don't know. I guess I'm saying I thought it was a boring game. I hope for the best for them. I hope the next DLC is a little bit more meaty, and maybe I'll play it.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping for Skyrim 2 is what I'm hoping for.
I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head that maybe proper space is boring. And this goes back to an old Gabe Newell quote. And I'm going to butcher it because I don't have it to hand. But he talked about, simulation games and things like that, and why things were slightly more arcadey in some of Valve's earlier games. And he's like, because simulation in real life is boring, so we slightly tweak things and change things to make them more interesting. And maybe someone's got to do that with space. I mean, if you've played Elite Dangerous, you know how samey and space can be, but that's the reality of it. It's a vast nothingness. I think No Man's Sky does a really good job of keeping that excitement and exploration of different planets. And I've talked about this before. I feel like the gameplay loop of No Man's Sky soon starts to repeat itself, but I think the exploration and the variety of the planets keeps it interesting. And yeah, maybe space games are just going to fall into the same category as zombie survival games. Nobody is going to be able to live up to this hype that we've got in our head of what the perfect zombie survival or the perfect space game is going to be like. They're all just going to fall flat or just miss the mark. Now,
I
don't get
feel
me
like-
wrong, there's some amazing games in those genres, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like movie adaptations do it better. I don't know why, but zombies and sci-fi movies is the way to go. Games, it's really hard to get it right. You are correct there.
But speaking of speaking of sci-fi and movies, just switching to TV shows, Fallout TV show just announced 100 million viewers on that, and well deserved. Absolutely phenomenal series. Now, we don't talk about TV too much on this podcast, but I feel like it's enough of a link that we can talk about it because it's so good as well. It's absolutely fantastic. Did you manage to catch it, Jamie?
Yeah, I was really taken with like the tone of the Fallout show. Like it really, like those first couple episodes especially are so confident, and are so proud of the source material that like it's kind of like an amusement park ride. And I was really impressed with the confidence of it and the initial tone. And it's a Zach Cherry show. Any show with Zach Cherry. I can't say his name. They're great. Watch Severance too.
I think you're right because like fans of Fallout who've played it for years and things like that, straight away it was so authentic to Vault life and the Vault Tech theme and things like that. So instantly it was recognizable. I think Ella Purnell plays an absolutely fantastic role. She's actually at Eurogamer in a few weeks, which is one of the bigger gaming conventions here in the UK. Usually takes place around mid to late September. So yeah, she's guest there. And yeah, really, really fantastic series, great cast, and looking forward to the second season. And anyone who's seen it will know why you're looking forward to the second season, but I don't want to say it because for anyone who's fans of the series and not checked it out yet, it will be a spoiler. Is that fair?
Yes, you're all right. I have a head scratcher for you guys. Okay, so Christopher Nolan, he did a film, Oppenheimer, about the creation of the atom bomb.
Okay.
Did you know Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's brother, was the director of Fallout TV series, where he did a TV series about the bomb dropping. There you go, a bit of trivia.
Okay.
When did they know?
Yeah.
What are they preparing us for?
Yeah.
I'm going to start collecting some bottle caps. That's all I say. Let's start topping off.
I'm going to open a store.
Right. Before we do Game of the Week and wrap things up, any games that you might have for us, Joe?
Games in terms of news?
Guess the game. Is that back?
Oh, all right. Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, okay. Jamie. Okay, so we have a little bit of a game here on the show. It's called Guess the Game. Have you ever played Guess Who when you were a child?
Yeah, totally.
It's exactly that. So I'm going to think of a game. You can ask me questions. I will answer with yes or no. There are 3 hints today, and I've actually spiced it up a bit, Matt.
Okay.
Instead of just giving you a hint, I'm going to give you a poem.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah,
That's a curveball.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, there are 3 hints, 3 parts of the poem. If you ask me for a hint, I will knock off 1 minute. So you've got 5 minutes in total. If you ask for a hint, I will knock off 1 minute. So, as always, I don't have the timer available on hand. This is a recurring feature of the show.
I'm going to let you take the reins on this, Jamie. I am 1-1 at the moment in this series. I got one right, got one wrong. Or am I 2-0? Did I get the first one? I can't remember now.
The first episode was controversial.
Yes, that was it. You had a poor clue. You had a poor clue. That was it.
I would say that you are 1.5 right. So, Jamie, so you're going to take the reins here, Jamie. Ask me some questions. If you need help, ask Matt over there. He might be able to throw some questions my way. So yeah, ask me any questions you like. I can answer with yes or no. I usually don't follow my own rules. So 5 minutes. Guess the game starting from now.
Okay. Is this game played from a first-person perspective?
No.
Great opening question. He's already better than me.
Yeah, he is.
First person. Okay, I've got a pen and paper. Is this played from the third-person perspective?
No.
Ooh. Okay. Interesting. is this a? Do you kill people in this game?
No.
Okay.
Would you like a clue? Would you like a hint?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop the timer. So the new time is going to be 3 minutes, 23 seconds. I'm going to read you a poem. Sit back, relax. Several layers of built-up junk as pieces click and snap and plunk. Starting the timer, 3 minutes, 20 seconds.
Pieces snap. Is this a city builder or is this like a? Oh damn! What would you call it?
Like a
Is this
tycoon game?
Yeah.
No.
Or like
I can give you more of the poem. It's a.
Oh, not yet. Not yet.
It's okay.
What do you
if
think,
need
Matt?
hints,
You got
Jamie.
something? What do you think, Matt?
Yeah. So it's not a top-down city builder, civ builder, or anything like that. You've already said that. Wow. Is it a mobile game?
Yeah.
Is it solely mobile? As in,
Nope.
that's its okay. But it just happens to be available on mobile.
Yep.
Okay.
2 minutes, 30 seconds. Would you like another piece of the
Yeah.
poem?
Let's get the next piece of the puzzle.
All right, I'm stopping the timer. Your new time, 1 minute, 27. So after this
Ooh.
piece of the poem, you can ask for the hint straight away, but you're going to have to get your answers in pretty quick. Okay, here we go. The next piece of the poem. The pace picks up, faster and faster. Buttons mash to avoid disaster.
Mashing. Is this game more than 20 years old?
Yes.
Does
One,
this game
Jamie.
have a soundtrack that is very famous?
Yes.
Is it Tetris?
It is Tetris, Jamie. Congratulations.
Nice.
No one's going to believe me, but as soon as Jamie sort of clicked, I think, in his mind, I think I got it as well. It literally went, oh, yeah, Tetris. And then he asked, is this soundtrack amazing? I was like, yes, we're on there, Tetris.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, guess the game. Back every week. Tune in here on Cool Story Bro.
I would say Jamie was probably the quickest. He was the wittiest to get the right questions thrown at me. He really nailed
Right, okay, yeah, just lay into me. That's absolutely fine. All right, I want to talk about...
you, boy.
I want to talk about our game of the week very quickly.
Yeah.
These guys have both checked it out. It's called Snowflow, and I'm going to butcher this guy's name. So John Topileski, potentially. Sorry for butchering your name, John. And also soundtrack by his friend as well, which is Wes. They both did it together, built in 7 days. After Wes is the soundtrack designer. It's literally a game that takes 10 minutes. You can download it or play it in your browser. It'll be available at coolstorybro.gg after this episode to check out. You literally just walk around as a penguin, push them into the water or the void. Feels very much like a void, but it's really chilled out. It's so nice, and if you get to the end, the soundtrack's great. I don't know what you guys thought.
I felt like a penguin. That's exactly what it felt like. Yeah, I managed to slide down. I found my mate, and then that was my experience. I loved it.
Oh, I didn't find my mate. I was looking for them. I pushed a lot of penguins into the water. I pushed some onto some ice floats. That was cool. The soundtrack was really cool, especially when you start sliding and the music picks up.
Yeah.
Super fun. Is there an objective to the game, or is it just like a chill hangout? Chill. Yeah.
The objective is find your mate and get yourself a little baby penguin and slide around with them. When you do that, the credits roll. So yeah, it literally takes 10 or 15 minutes to play it, unless you spend all your time pushing penguins into the water. But yeah, great. It's on itch.io as well, or at coolstorybro.gg. Jamie, you've been a phenomenal first guest of this series. Really appreciate you taking the time out to come speak to us. Is there anything else you'd like to mention, talk about, plug, whatever?
No, I think we've covered more news than I knew was even out there this week. Check out the NetflixGamingClub.com, and thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, 100%. Do check it out. NetflixGamingClub.com. It's a great listen, also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. Of course, check out coolstorybro.gg as well. Going to start to expand the website a little bit more. Game of the Week's going to be a brand new feature. So if you've got your suggestions as well, doesn't have to be cutesy little itch.io games. It could be the new Zelda game, which I know came out this week, which we literally haven't had time to talk about. We'll get to that next week, hopefully, on the next episode. Send them in to us. You can get us on all good socials. You can find them on our website at coolstorybro.gg. Again, Jack, thank you for another Guess the Game. Jamie, great guest, and all the best for your podcast and the new series coming out soon as well. And I'm definitely going to be playing some Vice City on my phone as soon as this episode finishes.
Yeah, Jamie, you've been a fantastic first guest for season 1 of Cool Story Bro. Thank you very much for coming on. And I'm just so happy that you and I have the same Steam library. It's great.
We'll have to talk about Prey later. Thank you so much, guys.
Cool story, bro. Cool story, bro.